All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you nothing, but helps us grow. We are down here in Odessa at Blacklist Performance, our main shop that does all the fabrication and all the everything on the cars. Pretty much everybody's shop car, chassis work, motor work, anything you can think of. These guys take care of it. If you guys need anything, look them up on Facebook. We are down here today with Spanky. We got a little opening. Has not been on the hub dyno since Troy's Out for Blood race that we won in October. Last time it was on the dyno, we only saw about 26 pounds of boost, which was still some good numbers. It was more power than we've ever made out of Spanky, so we were happy with that. Since then, we have been up about another 6 pounds since it was on the hub dyno. So we got an opening today. We're going to see what the tune-up that's in it right now is, a PB tune-up. We're going to see what kind of numbers that thing's really putting down. I mean, I know anybody can really put things together, but these cars are making damn near 2,000 horsepower. So if I see something close to that, I'll be very happy. I think before it made like 1575 on like 26 pounds of boost. I can't quite remember, but we are, like I said, up a little bit from there. So we're going to see what this thing is making for boost on the hub with our PB tune-up and see if we have any more room left to grow. It's always good to see where that thing is, if it's on kill or if we got a little bit left in the box. But we are getting it ready for Troy's race here at the end of the month. Battle in the Bay. See if we can get that, see if we can get a win there. Let's get to it. Well, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the quick little dyno session just to see where we were with everything. It did make about 100 more horsepower on that tune-up. We got some other things we've got to check out before Troy's race, which is in 2.5 weeks. So, as usual, we are getting shit done weeks or days before an event, but that's normally how it goes. We noticed a little tiny drip where the hub dyno was. it's in between the transmission and the back of the motor. So I'm hoping, because it is just a stock case for the rear main, I'm hoping it's just one of the seals. Hopefully, we've been monitoring the thrust on the converter and everything. If the trans pressures are too high, it is going to try to push the converter and crank forward through the motor, which obviously is going to end in a catastrophic big problem that's going to hurt my wallet. So we've been monitoring it, and it has been good. But we're going to go ahead and put it up on Tyler's lift. Looking between there, we're hoping it's just a seal, a rear main seal, which would be great, because then we can just drop the tranny, put a new one in there, do an oil change and maintenance it, and get it ready. If it is the thrust, like if we measure the thrust and it's more than that one, I think he measured one before, if it's way more than that, then we have a bigger problem, which could mean pull the tranny and the motor 2.5 weeks before a race. So let's have some cross fingers here while I blow up this tire, and wish us some luck. We'll see what happens. All right, so from our little time lapse right there, taking this tranny out, everything's looking good on the transmission side of things. I think we might have got lucky, boys. I'm thinking it might have just been the rear main seal. Doesn't look so hot. The bottom of it looks a little, if you look at it from this angle right here, you can see that the bottom is kind of blowing out a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and replace that whole cover, put a new gasket on there, and just one over everything. We were concerned it might have been that plug, but I don't think it is. I think that bottom seal right there, you can kind of see how it's busted out. So luckily, I don't think we have to pull the motor out. And we did do the thrust on here, and it's at between 3 and 4 thou. And it was at 1 or 2. So it is a little bit more, but apparently I believe they're saying like 6 to 15 is the grace point, and we're not even at the beginning of that. So I think we're good on that. You need something to race with?
No, I think about one.
Oh, okay. But while the transmission's out, we're gonna go see if we can have this thing maybe just refreshened and see if they can get that line pressure situated, get the numbers down a little bit, which is gonna stop this from pushing forward. So that's all we got for now. Everything else in the car looks good. I need to get under here and take all this out. I watched a video on, I believe it was TikTok or something. Somebody scraped all this stuff off and lost like 5 pounds. All right, guys, so we had to cut out of there. Tyler had some things he was going to wrap up over at his uncle's house on his car. He's got some cool stuff coming out with that, which we'll be showing on the channel in a little bit, getting those things ready. His and Mark's car are taking a little turn to come back and try to hold down that street style belt. So we'll have some more information on that soon. But aside from that, we did talk to Stefan at Ace Racing Engines. He's the guy who built that entire motor and knows everything head to toe from it. So we talked to him about the line pressure possible problem, and the thrust clearance was a little bit more. He simply was saying that when we checked it the first time, the car might not have been warmed up, which would make that tolerance tighter. The time that yesterday that when we just checked it at Tyler's, the car was running. I backed it out of the street into the shop. The car was running for probably 10 minutes. Had a little bit more heat in it, so there was probably a little bit more play, I guess you'd say. So he thinks between that 2 and 3.5 where it's at is totally fine. It's still super tight. He's not too concerned about that. As far as refreshing the transmission and going to have Larry Hart kind of go through that for me, we're not going to mess with that either, because the car has had no problems shifting. It has worked perfectly. Yeah, the line pressure is probably about 10 to 15 psi more than what we really would like to see, but it's not causing a problem right now. So, or it might not ever have a problem at all, but we're going to go over that after the reunion. So we're going to try to get through these 3 races before we tear it down. So essentially, we're going to throw the Circle D converter back in there, throw the transmission back in there. We're going to put a brand new seal on the back of the motor, new oil, new fluids, new LAT in the transmission, get it back down on the ground, get it dialed in. I'd love to get a test hit in, but now between Troy's, which I only got 2 weeks, and I go out of town this weekend to Texas, so that's going to make things a little tough. And I really want a nighttime test and tune, private test, because the ones during the day just aren't realistic for the job. Taking off work, and the fact that 90% of our races are not at 10 a.m. In the heat. So I'd like to get one about 5 to 11 where I could get there. We got a good off the trailer tune up that is pretty spicy. I'd love to get there, get off the trailer, and go make the test pass while the sun's still out. We did just have a time change, so that's going to help a little bit, but then we can get our suspension dialed in and try to really go after another PB. Each time we go out, we're going faster. So we got 2 grudge races locked in. Waukesha for $1,000 Friday night at Troy's race, and we are racing Ransom Tyler Simmons I think for $2,500 on Friday night. So if you are not Battle in the Bay, March 22nd, 23rd, better go get your tickets, get yourself a seat. It's going to be a show. Catch you on the next clip.